to the Fantasy Footballers Podcast with your hosts, Andy Holloway, Jason Moore, and Mike Wright.
Welcome in. The Fantasy Footballers, Monday, November 11th. It's a skeleton crew today. We've got a holiday edition of the show.
It's a jolly holiday.
All of our kids are home from school, and here we are. Because we didn't know how Veterans Day was observed. So happy Veterans Day to everybody out there. To our veterans' service and sacrifice, we respect and honor that. And we got a show for you today.
Gonna respect it with some good old-fashioned poop and fart jokes, I bet.
Yeah.
Well, some people
based
do.
off of the weekend.
Some people do have to work, but we were getting to the point where I was with a bunch of family this weekend that are in from out of town, and it's like nobody's working. They've all got the days off. Our kids are all they all got the days off. And then one person in our family was working, and I was like, oh, okay, well, what field are you in? And it was like a hospital. It was like, okay,
Right.
that's why we
Man.
talk fantasy football, and that's why we're working too.
You surround yourself with laziness, apparently.
Just the same level of essential service is what we're doing here. So what we learned this morning, because we kind of we have to schedule out our year and our shows well in advance because we sell advertising into the shows and we're planning the year. And then it's like, oh, it's November 11th every year. It's not just Monday.
Right.
So it's only ever been a Monday one time.
It's been since we've been doing
Since
this.
we've been
I promise
not
it's
once
hit
in
Monday more
history.
than once. But yeah, been 5 years since the last Monday that it fell on the 11th.
So we're here, and hopefully you're enjoying the holiday. And if you have to work, you've got the show, and otherwise maybe you'll be listening to it tomorrow. We'll see. We got a lot to talk about this weekend. The Monday Punday. It was hard to find somebody happy with somebody that wasn't named Jamar Chase and Lamar Jackson.
Watching the games here in the studio this weekend, I mean, the whole first half of the day was like, who are you happy with? Like we were just trying to figure out, because all the touchdowns that came through in the first half of the morning slate was like nobody's.
There's a couple valuable ones, but not very
so,
many.
So I have to break in. Kyle, you're on the microphone, right?
I'm here.
And you're in Georgia.
Yep.
And everybody's at school?
They're at school today.
This is this is a national holiday.
I don't create the schedule.
The stock market is closed today.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
It's not?
No.
What? So wait.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
I would trust Jeremy
I
on
went
this
and
one.
looked at the I went and looked at the pre-market. I thought it
Banks
wasn't
are
moving.
closed today.
It's open.
Banks are closed
I would
today.
Banks
trust
are closed. That is confirmed.
I
And
would trust Al.
the
We're
bond
his
market
side
is
hustle.
closed.
But to be fair, banks are so lazy.
Are you sure that maybe the stock market's only open in Georgia? What in the world? Okay, so we don't know what's going on. We know it's Veterans Day. Happy Veterans Day, everybody.
What? What?
Some people they go to
Okay.
school, some people they don't.
Okay.
Okay, so while it's a federal holiday, the New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ will be open the regular hours. What is going on? So we'll do half a show.
That sounds great.
You wanna do half a show?
Are we doing studs or duds?
So
Well, Duds would be
This
the
week,
longer
yeah.
episode.
so you're telling me the stock market is like, we'll close on New Year's Day,
yeah.
Washington's birthday,
Uh-huh. I know where you're going.
Veterans Day. No, man, we got to keep working. Are we honoring the vets?
I
by
think they're
working? I'm
honoring
very
the
confused.
they are taking the veterans
tread
investment, and they're saying we want you to have a larger portfolio. We're going to stay open today.
Okay.
This is honoring the vet.
Okay.
I like that. I love learning these things live on the podcast.
Yeah, great news for you. We will learn them all again next year.
Yeah, we will, because we will forget all of this. So we did put the call out for Monday Punday excellence, as we call it, and you guys shared your Monday Punday submissions. This was one of those weeks where it was at least 80-20 negative reaction to performances. I mean, I'm looking at Jason right now, and right above his head is a man who didn't play football last night.
Oh, are you kidding me?
Nico
You
Collins.
put Nico above me? Papa Josh, you are.
What a snake.
Oh, you snake.
Josh was laughing.
I can't believe you figured it out this early.
I mean,
Oh,
Nico
my
Collins
goodness.
and his I mean, people wanted to know your reaction. Now, I think it would have been far more severe had your matchup been a little bit closer.
Yes, I have to thank you, Papa Josh, for your team being so terrible. Playing you this week is my only saving grace. My team crapped the bed, and I still should win, but it's not impossible that I lose if Puka outscores Waddle by about 20 points.
Yeah, so no Nico. That was one of the many surprises. Nico calling in sick is his submission I saw. But let's jump into Monday Punday. Let's react to the weekend, and we'll get into studs and duds. Let's start with the good, like awesome Eckler.
Or Saquon Fartley.
Oh,
Why is Mr. Fartley in the good?
I saw quite a few.
Yeah.
No, that's a bad one.
Yeah.
That's a bad one.
Well, generally speaking, what's
Let's start here. Awesome Eckler.
How about Jamar Chase?
Hey, gaseousness is negative usually.
Sorry.
Calvin Bigley?
And Cal Win Ridley.
Calvin Bigley?
How about Brock Purdy darn good?
Okay. Hey,
Oh, boy.
Kyler Murray.
And Chuba Hubba Hubba.
Mark Mandrews.
LaMarvelous Jackson.
And I saw LaMarvelous Chase. All right, here's
Yeah.
where we
There we go.
Saquon Fartley.
Very good. Mike Gesicki.
Oh, sham. Darn it.
Bustin Jefferson.
Oh, how about Pooper Rush?
Or, Silence of the Lamb.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
no.
CD Sham with those you see the sun bursting through and blinding
yeah.
CD Lamb.
Yeah. We're going to talk about that.
Nave Flowers.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers?
And Dalton Decade.
Dalton Decade. Good. Jared Goffel.
Oh, Malik Wafers.
Yeah. And Bad McConkey.
Oh, man.
Just simple.
Yeah, there's some good stuff in there.
Yeah, Malik Waivers. I mean,
That's a good one.
I do appreciate, nobody knows this until I say it, but I do appreciate that Bad McConkey was spelled with 2 Ds.
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we are integrous here
Yeah.
on this fine Veterans Day.
Have you ever shared, Jason, that you when you're referring to McConkey, I mean, when you're not doing your awful accent.
Oh, my little lad.
Yeah, that one. You call him Ladidi.
Yeah, well, that's from
Yeah,
Is
that's
that Key and Peele
yeah,
style?
yeah,
Ladidi
yeah.
McConkey.
Yeah.
Aaron?
Ladidi McConkey.
Well, that was the best we had. That really was the best we had. It was a heck of a weekend. You can submit yours on Instagram at Fantasy Footballers, on X at the FF Ballers. Every Sunday night we put the post up, and you can break into the show with your Monday Punday.
Welcome to Ready to Roll, presented by Nissan.
10 weeks in. I mean, we got a Monday Night Football game, but we're just about 10 weeks in, and wanted to take a look at the disparity between the best pass-catching running backs and the running backs that put up the most points just on the ground. We know that a running back target, statistically speaking, in fantasy football is worth 2 to 2.5 times more than a rushing attempt. So, and we also know that touchdowns are difficult to predict. And so sometimes when a running back is dependent on simply handoffs, the running ground work, it can be a little more inconsistent. We looked at pass-catching pros, running backs with 35+% of their fantasy points coming through the air, and we looked at the big-bodied bruisers, the BBB, running backs with 80+% of their production coming on the ground. The names might be familiar, but your conclusion about whether you'd rather have one or the other the rest of the season might be interesting. The top 3 names at the pass-catching pro area: Rashad White, who has been putting up consistent flex-worthy,
He has.
RB2-worthy numbers. Breece Hall, kind of interesting that he's in that category once again. And then Alvin Kamara, of course, right? Alvin Kamara, despite the absolutely egregious, potentially league-changing drop on
man.
Sunday.
What was that thing going to be, like a 60-yard touchdown?
Oh, it was, and it was just if you watch the replay, the ball was in his hands and he had already turned his head upfield, which is always what you see on a drop, right? You always see the head turning.
Look the ball into the hands
Yeah.
and secure the catch.
Well, I don't even blame players like that have 10 years of catching everything.
Yeah,
But
you never expect Alvin Kamara to drop a pass.
So those players are in that pass-catching pro category. And then, of course, the big-bodied bruisers, the ones that are having at least 80% of the production coming on the ground. We saw one of them last night, David Montgomery. Jason was absolutely I still have beard.
Oh, I know.
I still have the white beard.
You're in the gnome zone.
From
it's everywhere,
from Friday's
man.
show on my...
I've been cleaning it up all morning, and I thought I got it all. I'm finding new ones right here. The gnome zone will never leave us.
No, that is the punishment that keeps on going. But David Montgomery last night and last year, 90% of his fantasy points last year came on the ground. It's not that he's not a good pass catcher. They got a better one. They got a better one, Jahmyr Gibbs. And then Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry and J.K. Dobbins, two other guys in that category. I'm curious when you look at this statistic, when you know that target number, that they're worth 2 to 2.5 times more than a rushing attempt. How do you look at the landscape and players this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think Alvin Kamara is worth bringing up as when you've got a running back and you're watching the game script, sometimes it can be so frustrating knowing that for your running back to succeed, you have to that team has to do good. They have to perform well. They have to have the lead.
Superman does good.
Yeah. It's wonderful when you don't care. Like if you've got the lead and you've got a guy like Alvin Kamara, great. They're going to use him. If you get down 2 scores, great. They're going to use him even more. That's the frustrating thing about certain types of players. Like Derrick Henry has been a frustrating manager, a frustrating player to have in years past when you're not winning every single game.
Yeah.
And I think that would still hold true for the Baltimore Ravens. Like if they're down 2 scores, you're going to watch Derrick Henry on the sideline a lot. It's just you're not going to be down 2 scores a lot in Baltimore right now.
Which is the exact same equation for David Montgomery.
100%.
I mean, they win most of their games, and because of that, Montgomery is constantly eating up the clock. He's generally been the first quarter guy. Dobbins is not doing anything in the passing game. Gus Edwards came back and was more involved yesterday than I expected, and that team doesn't win quite as much or as well as the Henry Montgomery, the running scheme. It's hard to have any doubt in Henry. It's hard to have any doubt in Montgomery. But Dobbins, I have a little bit more doubt moving forward from a consistency spectrum.
Yeah, I thought that Gus Edwards looked better on the field.
He did. He looked
yesterday.
fast again.
Yeah, he did. It was like, oh, good. Whatever was ailing him to start the year, because he looked awful to begin the year. And we were watching the game, and we're like, oh, man, number 4 looking good out there.
10 for 55.
Yeah, so J.K. Dobbins did carry the ball 50. Thank you. Dobbins was still the leader, in snaps, in carries. And we just the Dobbins is running routes. Like he ran, according to PFF, he ran 17 routes yesterday. Huge was the high on the team at 23. So 17. That's a good number for what the Chargers did yesterday. 3 targets. I mean, okay.
It's funny because
like he's been running routes, but he's not getting targeted.
He is not uninvolved in the passing game. The way that like David Montgomery is generally uninvolved in the pass game. J.K. Dobbins is involved. He's just not efficient with it. Like, if you look at his last 5 games, he'd be on target for 57, a 17-game pace of 57 targets, which is that's not uninvolved, but only 200 yards. Like, he doesn't do anything with them. So when you look at 90% of his points are coming outside of, the pass work, a lot of that's because he's been really running hot with touchdowns. And so Dobbins is a player I worry about with Gus back. I think Gus could be their better goal line player. And if so much of your production is coming from touchdown dependency, then Gus being back is a real problem.
Just to back up that number, he's 35th out of 36 running backs in fantasy points per target. So when he's throwing the football, fantasy points aren't coming. On the other side with the pass catching guys, Breece Hall I want to talk about, because if you look on the course of the whole year, he's averaging 13 attempts a game. So on the ground, 13 attempts a game. If I had told you that before the season, would you have been content drafting him where he was drafted?
No way. I mean, he was being drafted anywhere from the 2nd pick to the 4th pick. Breece has been dreadfully disappointing. And he's had his good games. He's had his big runs. He's not a worthless fantasy asset, But as someone who has him in both of our main leagues, like our main dynasty and our league of record, I've got him in both places. He has hurt me on a personal level.
Yeah.
And I'm frustrated by both his utilization and his performance.
So DeAndre Swift averages 2.7 more attempts a game than Breece Hall does. Joe Mixon's at 22, whereas Breece Hall's at 13. And since the arrival of Devontae Adams, he's averaged 2.3 receptions per game, a 12% target share, where he was at 4.6. That's why he's in the pass-catching pro category. The team is getting down. They're losing ball games. When that happens, it's a quick Aaron Rodgers got to fix this problem, whether he can fix it or not. That seems concerning.
Yeah, I mean, think about the targets here before and after Devontae Adams. You've got the targets were 6, 8, 5, 5, 4, 6, 9, all awesome numbers. And then the last 3 weeks have been
Jenny's number.
3, 4, and 4. So you're taking
and a new play caller.
Right. And originally when that play caller shifted over, you thought this was really, really good news for Breece Hall, the utilization. Braylon Allen kind of disappeared for a minute.
Yeah, but he's back.
Yeah, Braylon Allen is back. He had 8 opportunities, 7 carries in yesterday's game to Breece Hall's 10.
Ugh.
I know. Ugh. And honestly, I watch Breece Hall. If you get Breece Hall a crease and you let him go, he's hard to catch. But if you don't give him that crease, he's not doing anything on his own that's as special as I think his time. You know, he
doesn't really look different than Braylon Allen when it's just
he doesn't. You watch,
behind center.
You watch Bijan versus Tyler Algier.
Yeah.
And you watch and you're like, oh my gosh. Every time they give the ball to Tyler Algier, even when he's okay, but it is a negative compared to Bijan. Bijan's just been outstanding the last month. Breece is not digging into that next, digging deeper, getting to that next gear.
Is there dynasty panic?
I am. Yeah, I would definitely say there's dynasty panic. Because what you thought you had with Breece was a young top 3 running back. What you have with Breece is a young top 15 running back.
Ooh.
And those things are
top 10?
No, top 15. I mean, what is he?
I think he's 11 on the year.
Yeah, he's 11 on the year.
Yeah, that don't fit the top 10.
No, it doesn't fit the top 10, and he hasn't had a bye week. On a points per game basis,
no.
I'll bet he's not top 15. I'm on it. I'm gonna find out.
There's a man who knows his Breece.
Yeah, I love Breece Hall. He's like one of my dudes, and there's a reason I've got him in both of our main leagues, and I'm not happy about it.
Mike, any other comments on these 2 paradigms of running back?
No, I echo that. I'm concerned with Dobbins.
Yeah.
Of all the guys we've talked about, he's the one that's the scariest.
All right, that was ready to roll. Thanks again to our sponsor, Nissan, and the all-new reimagined Nissan Kicks. Redesigned with a bold new look, the Nissan Kicks sports the latest tech, like a Bose Personal Plus sound system. Head over to nissanusa.com to learn more. Bose Personal Plus sound system is an available feature. Bose is a registered trademark of the Bose Corporation.
News and notes from around the league. Presented by USAA Insurance.
I know you've got the number.
I've got the number. You want to take a guess? Breece Hall's the
How
running.
many minimum games did you go?
I didn't go any, so Isaiah
per
Pacheco is in there.
I got at minimum 4 games.
Okay. Without that, he's the running back 19, so I'm guessing he's the running back 18?
20.
Oh,
if minimum 4 games, RB 20.
How would that be worse?
Math makes no sense to me.
I'm on our website. I got minimum games 4, and points per game. Breece Hall is 20.
Well, there you go.
So not great, not league winning, not week winning.
No,
just
he's still got the talent to do it.
Nice RB2.
I mean, but the Jets,
okay, RB2.
The Jets are. I mean, it's funny because I have had Breece Hall, my superstar, and then I've got David Montgomery. Okay, and it's completely it's like I've got David Montgomery, and Breece Hall.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
It is weird, man. I hate it.
And that's why your reaction to David Montgomery not getting the first drive of the game was so extreme, because you need him.
Yeah, that's his drive, man.
All right, Trevor Lawrence didn't play, dealing with a significant AC joint sprain. Could miss the rest of the season. This is being reported by Diana Rossini, among others. If you were in a multi-quarterback league, you should have added Mac Jones. We mentioned it. Other quarterbacks potentially missing, probably missing the rest of the season. Dak Prescott meeting with another specialist.
Goodness.
From what I've read about this injury, he's missing the rest of the season no matter what. It's just whether he does the surgery, which puts him on the shelf for 3 months, or he doesn't do the surgery, which puts him on the shelf for 8 to 10 weeks. Either way, he's missing the season. And Dallas is in just a tailspin.
What are they doing?
What
are they
losing?
They're losing. We're getting like more public meltdowns. If you didn't catch it, the CeeDee Lamb had an easy touchdown, but the way that the Dallas Cowboys Stadium is situated and facing, well, at certain times of the day, the sun comes blasting through the windows directly into the faces of everyone who is looking in that direction. CeeDee Lamb had an easy touchdown, doesn't catch it.
Doesn't know
doesn't even know where the ball is.
Has no idea that the ball's thrown to him.
Yeah, I'm not blaming him. We've all done the thing where you look up and the sun is there.
Yeah, I'm not blaming anybody on that.
I'm blaming one person.
Well, you have become like Jerry Jones might be who you are for Halloween next year.
Because my eyes are open.
If he's still alive,
so are my ears. Look. CeeDee Lamb was asked about it, and he's like, I couldn't see it. Maybe curtains. And then Jerry Jones was asked about putting up curtains. He's like, why don't we just tear down the whole stadium then? Like, the guy overreacted so much. He has no idea what he's doing.
You would never.
I'm reacting appropriately to Jerry Jones right now.
I mean, if as far as I'm concerned, if you're the home team, you of all teams know where the sun is on that play. Maybe run a different play.
I have these.
Maybe just put some curtains up.
I have these blinds. I have these blinds. You can push
some
a
flowery
button.
curtains.
You can push a button and have them roll up and have them roll down.
Now, if you could do that, would you roll it up when
You're darn right I would.
When the other team's on the other
You're
side of the field?
darn right I would. When they got the ball,
the red zone curtains.
The curtains rise.
It's just insanity. If you've watched any Cowboy games, you know that there'll just be these areas of the field where, like, the sun in its full force and mighty is just barreling down on that part of the field.
No 82-year-old man is prepared to receive the quantity of questions about the amount of things going wrong in Dallas right now. No 82-year-old man. Could you imagine going into a nursing home and just berating an 82-year-old about some mistakes that they made that they can't remember?
That is the problem, because it's so easy. They got the reports, hey, CeeDee Lamb looked like he really could have had an easy touchdown there, but the sun was in his face. Me, owning the Dallas Cowboys, wanting them to succeed, I go, oh, that sounds.
We'll take care of that.
That's a problem that we're going to take care of.
Yeah.
Next week, that'll be fixed. Instead, why don't we just tear down the whole stadium? We know where the sun is. Where's the moon?
That was his quote.
I sound like a crazy person right now, but that was Jerry Jones.
Yeah. Well, look, Cooper Rush isn't the answer.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, Cooper Rush is not the answer. Woof, bad.
We know what the answer is.
We know what the
yes. The answer is also not Trey Lance, Mike.
Probably.
Honestly, why not?
Oh no, I would move to Trey Lance. I would move to him this week.
As fast
I'm
as
just
possible.
saying it will also not be the
What did they
answer.
give up for Trey Lance?
It was a fourth. It was a fourth. It was a fourth that could have been Braylon Allen.
I mean, he's a free agent. You got to just play him at this point.
But guys, Cooper Rush threw the ball 23 times. He threw it 23 times, and he finished the day with 45 passing yards. That's a level of bad that I'm not sure we've seen.
I listened to Jerry. He said that was Philly had a lot.
Where's the moon?
No, he said Philly had a lot to do with it. Because
Yeah.
They were playing defense.
Do you know how good they are?
Yes.
Where's the moon? He's 82, Mike. Lay off.
I will not.
He didn't get his nap.
You know who's going to have a lot to do with Cooper Rush's bad performance next week? Whoever their opponent is, which is Houston.
I am trying, because I think this is worth more of our time on today's show. I think it's worth having the conversation about how to properly react to CeeDee Lamb, because
sure,
he should have caught the touchdown, right? Like that was an anomaly.
Mm-hmm.
The sun was in his
Well,
eyes.
it's not an anomaly in the stadium,
No,
but it's not a normal thing in the NFL. In domes.
I don't want people to, because I was in this boat yesterday. I was on the precipice of sending about 10 trades out to try and fix the CeeDee Lamb problem rest of season. I have
Get rid of CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, try to find basically try to go find a team that has a player that's in the same category that maybe can afford to, we have a keeper league. They can afford to give up somebody now and they'd rather have CeeDee Lamb later, and I can stack a player on top of it. But I'm looking at those names, right? Justin Jefferson. Okay. Disappeared yesterday. Sam Darnold has his problems. I'd probably rather have Jefferson rest of the season. That person's probably not doing that deal.
No.
Malik Neighbors had conversations about that. No, thank you, Al. Malik Neighbors. Okay. Well, would I rather have Malik Neighbors? Why? Why would I rather have Malik Neighbors? He's going to have as many games that are Drew Locked or Daniel Jones the rest of the year as Lamb will have Cooper Rush and Trey Lance. So there aren't a lot of options that are sitting there. I mean, the one that I thought of was Nico Collins.
Yeah.
It was injured right now. Players not getting that return, was the number one wide receiver. Don't know when he's going to be back. Don't know if he's going to be healthy. Maybe Nico Collins is a target. But you really can't just go trade to just get the headache off your team because it's going to hurt you. He's going to lead the team. They're not going to be a good team. They're going to throw the ball all game long, and he's their best receiver by about a factor of 1,000. So I just would not panic trade CeeDee Lamb. I would just –
if you're trading him, you're going to have to move down a tier. To get the deal done.
That seems like the truth. You're going to have to move up somewhere else, and I don't know. I wouldn't overreact to 1 week.
He did have 10 targets.
Yeah, I think
I'm
scared.
What did he finish with, though?
He caught the ball 6 times for 21 receiving yards.
Yeah.
Also
and he got some
known as,
handoffs, right? I mean,
like a third of Cooper Rush's
just be
total
careful.
yards?
Just be careful. This was a bad week for a lot of players. I'm not saying don't trade, but just be careful. Because maybe Trey Lance, one thing Trey Lance could do from time to time was throw a deep ball.
Yes, he can.
So
see, there's a lot of players out there I think I would rather have than CeeDee. Now, we're in a, you're talking about your situation. We're in a keeper league. There's a lot of nuance, but just in a redraft league, and you're just thinking
I want to
rest
hear
of
some
season,
names, yeah.
I'd much rather have Puka. I'd much rather have Debo.
I would not much rather have Debo.
Wow.
I would not do that trade.
That's shocking. I think we just have a difference of opinion of what's going to happen rest of season to CeeDee Lamb. I think CeeDee Lamb will have a lot of targets, a lot of receptions, very few yards, and almost no touchdowns. That's how I expect the rest of the season to go.
So that's fine. Debo's on your list. Who else?
I'm looking at, if you told me that George Pickens has a better rest of season than CeeDee Lamb, I wouldn't be shocked. Drake London, I'd rather have.
I don't think you're getting Drake.
No, I don't think so either. But I'm just saying my point is there's a lot of guys out there that I think will be better than CeeDee Lamb rest of season. I'm not dropping all the way down.
So would you try to get rid of him?
If I could turn him into one of those names I just mentioned, I would absolutely do that.
You can turn him into London and Pickens in most leagues.
Pickens is a little dicier to me. That's like you're calling a shot that CeeDee's really going to suck. London to me, I would do. Easily. London, Debo, I would trade him straight up.
I
Mike,
think,
what about you?
I think
you're on,
just of the names you're talking about, I think Pickens easily outscores CeeDee Lamb rest of the season. Like Pickens
He's been good.
The last, so what we got 3 games now with Russ, 111, 74, 91 yards. Those are his yards,
when I brought up that I'm not going to completely panic. It seems like you both are ready to move on.
In terms of, I don't know that I'm going to panic yet, but here's what's difficult about it. If CeeDee Lamb goes out next week against the Houston Texans and has another crap game,
you won't be able to move.
You won't be able to trade him. So that's kind of where you got to make the decision of what can you live with. If you can move to one of those tier guys that Jason was talking about, I think I would do it. Like Debo, I think I would do that move.
Interesting.
But it's sketchy either way because this is the window. This week.
You brought up the comparison of Jake Browning and Jamar Chase last year.
Mm-hmm.
And Cooper Rush, Trey Lance, we'll see what they can get done. Philly, we talked about their defense coming into the week, how outstanding it's been. Obviously, Cooper DeJean and company have changed their secondary.
But like Jake Browning last year. I'm trying to pull up exactly when he was playing. So Browning started. Oh, that's this year.
Well, you share that on the other side of the break. We'll take a quick break and get back into the news.
All right. So Jake Browning started week 11. He played week 11 through 18, and in that time, Jamar Chase, he did miss a game to injury, but his pace would have been catching about 4.5 passes a week for 56 yards a game. So not even on pace for 1,000 yards in those games with Browning. Like
we've seen it with Tyreek Hill.
He had one good-ish game, one great game at 26 points, and the other ones are all rough. Man, I forgot how bad it was. You might want to trade CeeDee Lamb. Goodness gracious.
Well, I know what my mind will be on the rest of the day. Tyreek Hill, game time decision tonight, wrist injury, didn't practice Friday or Saturday. Tyreek normally goes when it's close. If he doesn't, my priority pickup has been and was tweeted as Jonnu and his involvement in the offense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because you hopefully had Tyreek in your flex because you were supposed to do that. Other people
that's
are
a good
saying
pickup. I was so worried you were going to say Odell Beckham.
No, to me it's not Beckham.
No.
It's Jonnu, and Jonnu's had a role, and he'll have even more of a role in the pass rush, and John is just a part of the offense. I mean, Beckham could be fine, could be nothing. Jonnu won't be nothing.
No, I'd play Jonnu.
Dalton Kincaid, knee injury, attempted to return with a brace, couldn't return.
He also had Josh. The reason that he was what was he in the studs? Dalton Decade.
Yeah,
that's Josh Allen's fault. He had a wide open touchdown, and Josh Allen missed it.
They have some weird catch percentage problem right now.
Yeah, when he goes downfield to Dalton Kincaid, they never connect. I don't understand why.
Yeah, if they hit on half the shots that they've had, it would be a totally different season. But now you got to find a different tight end, and you might have to do it here too. Sam Laporta left early with a shoulder injury, didn't return. It's a sprain. It's not considered long-term, but we're still paying attention to the report.
The way that Dan Campbell was talking about it, he was throwing out like he might miss a week. So if you got Laporta, you better be on the waivers tomorrow.
Tank Bigsby left early with an ankle injury. Didn't return. Big disappointment. Aaron Jones, rib injury evaluation, came back into the game. X-rays were negative.
The dude he got carted off.
Yeah.
He got carted off, and then he's like, oh, I'm back, baby.
I thought it was like, oh, Cam Akers going to be the biggest pickup of the week, and then we're watching the game. I was like, wait, that's Aaron Jones playing football. He was on a cart going to the – I mean, I don't know. Maybe – didn't Kittle get carted off for an IV earlier this year?
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe he just wanted the cart. Maybe it's fun. I mean, it's kind of like –
if you got to drive it, I would completely understand.
Oh, man, if somebody drove off on the cart, that would be so sick.
Drove themselves?
Yeah.
Has anyone ever like stood on it and surfed?
Or rode shotgun?
Oh yeah,
yeah. At least right up front. Like I hope Kittle. I didn't see him get carted off. I just remember reading the report. I hope he didn't sit on the back. That's embarrassing.
All right, that was today's news and notes presented by USAA Insurance. Learn more at usaa.com/insurance. Let's jump into the studs.
This week's Fantasy Stud Muffins.
Thursday night football.
Well, yeah, Lamar Jackson was second. Joe Burrow was first. Hurts, again, a great week. They're on fire. Kyler, 28.7.
Dude,
this was
what? Dealing.
This was one of the best performances of Kyler Murray's career. There's a reason I have felt like I can wear my Cardinals gear for 1 week at least. Kyler was like 22 for 24.
22 of 24, 266 yards. Passing touchdown, had 2 rushing touchdowns with 21 rushing yards.
He is the only quarterback in the history of the National Football League with 2 rushing touchdowns and a passing touchdown and a 90-plus completion percentage. Absolutely carved up the Jets. The Cardinals, I'm telling you, we have no idea what's going on.
No.
We are not willing to acknowledge that they're good.
No way.
But they have not given up a touchdown in 3 consecutive home games. Their defense of anonymous players minus Budda Baker have given up no touchdowns.
Yeah, the Chargers scored 15 points. Chicago scored 9, and the Jets scored 6.
And the Jets scored 2. They had 2 field goals, and then they didn't score the rest of the game. So, and this is a week after.
They're confusing.
A week after Adams and Wilson had big games. So, Kyler's performance, the dependency, the fact he can go to Trey McBride, and McBride is a beast, and Harrison and Connor. In the passing game, Connor just narrowly missed a 44-yard touchdown reception in this game, scored on the next 2 plays later. Murray was outstanding, and look, I had my doubts at home against the Jets. After
I had big doubts.
They beat the Bears at home last week, and he scored 6 fantasy points. So that was where the doubt came from, because they haven't needed him all the time. He's talked about some games are boring for him because the Cardinals can win on the ground. Now, Brock Purdy, that one we expected to be good, and it was. 353 and 2. He was the start of the week, and he looked great as McCaffrey made his return and they got on track. Now, they barely won the game, but they did win it. Running back studs, Bijan, Chuba, Connor, Chase Brown, and Austin Eckler.
Oh, Bijan, baby. He's the running back 4 on the year. Recently, he has really, really heated up. If you look from week 6 on, he's been a running back 1 every single week, other than last week where he was the running back 13, so he was just 1 spot behind it. But he has been on pace for monstrous output. He's on pace over that stretch for 1,500 rushing yards, 600 receiving yards, 78 receptions, a touchdown a game. And, oh, my goodness, Falcons, you learn your lesson. I was so frustrated. Bijan is just tearing the defense up. They cannot stop Bijan. He's getting extra yards on everything. They get to the goal line.
Got to bring the hammer in.
1st and goal from the 1. Who's in there?
The hammer.
Tyler Algier stuffed. That's okay.
Oh yeah, they do it again.
2nd down. Give it to Tyler Algier on the goal line. Stuffed.
That's all right.
That's okay. We got 2 more tries. 3rd down on the goal line.
Yeah, Tyler Algier. The
Let's
hammer.
give it to Tyler Algier. Oh, let's review that. Let's throw the red flag. I think he got in. He was really close. I'm not sure. 4th down. All right. Let's give it to Bijan. And Bijan just no problem.
Yeah.
So I wanted to know how much was our emotional reaction and how much was real. You don't want to know these numbers.
I
don't want to know these numbers.
I don't care.
No. You because 5 zone attempts. Bijan has 5 zone attempts.
Okay.
How many touchdowns? 4.
4, yeah.
Okay.
There's a reason his are
Tyler Algier has 6 5 zone attempts. How many touchdowns?
0.
1.
Okay, yeah. I mean, learn your
He's the
lesson.
hammer.
It's just
He's
so
bigger.
Yeah.
He eats more food.
it's so frustrating because when you're watching the games, like depending on what's going on, like I was rooting for the Falcons big time because I needed passing on the other side of the game, so I'm like rooting for the Falcons to take the lead.
We take your thermometer down, and they finally win a game.
Yeah, because they got rid of Dennis Allen.
We fixed the problem.
Yeah, you're welcome, Saints fans. But it was like, even forget the goal line stuff. When they're driving, it's like, I know you can't have a player. It's not healthy to have them play 100% of the snaps or whatnot. But all the valuable touches, whenever it goes to Algier, it's just it's negative from what it could be. So it's frustrating.
I think he has his role to play, and
Yeah,
I think he's been.
Yeah, get stuffed
been-
on 1st, 2nd, and 3rd down.
You see, he's the hammer.
Yeah.
No, I
This
mean,
is old school
He's
football.
not Algier is
he's
not a bad.
averaging 5 a carry. Algier is very good.
Yes,
it
I
is
agree.
It is like, honestly, maybe it's not true, but it's close to the same thing in Detroit. It really is. It is close.
I don't think so at all.
It is close.
David Montgomery is a monster. Defenses can't stop him. David Montgomery is far more James Conner. Tyler Algier.
David Montgomery is averaging 0.7 yards less per carry than Tyler Algier.
Well, those are different situations. David Montgomery is used in those giant, run
math
the clock
is math.
out. No, it's not the
Yeah.
math. No, if you look at yards per expectation, I'm sure it's not the same at all because of if you're getting the ball, on the run the clock out defenses all stacking the box. Those are different situations. You wouldn't expect
That's what
the same
Algier
yards
does
per carry.
too, though. I mean, Algier is a run the clock out. I think we need to be fair to the situation. Like Gibbs averages 2 yards more per carry than Montgomery.
Yeah,
So,
but
I mean,
both guys are great.
I
Algier's
think
good, but
we look
Algier's
at that
not great.
situation, and Bijan's more explosive. Gibbs is more explosive. Montgomery's a much better runner than Algier. I'm not actually making the argument that they're the same, but there's a role to play for those players. We're always going to be disappointed when the hammer comes in. We always want to see we didn't want Melvin Gordon. We wanted Eckler. You know,
That's right, we did.
We didn't want to. We don't want to see the plotter that breaks the defense down and weakens the defense. We want the lightning. We don't want the thunder.
The difference is Bijan is also a big back. You can give Bijan all the work.
I'm enjoying this.
I won't die. I will die on this hill. I won't quit.
Is Bijan averaging more yards per carry than Algier?
Ooh, Kyle says,
I don't know.
Kyle says Algier's in 10th in
10th
EPA,
in EPA per rush. Jason, yeah, and he's averaging more.
Monty's 23rd.
He's averaging more yards per carry than Bijan. So, any thoughts?
Yeah. When they give the ball to Tyler Algier, it is a negative play for
No, it
their
isn't.
offense from what it could be.
No, it isn't.
It
That's
is.
what EPA is.
No, it is.
That's expected points added.
I am telling you.
Where's Bijan, Kyle?
Monty's 23rd in
Kyle,
EPA.
you're the Falcons
Monty's
fan.
23rd in EPA.
Kyle, you're a Falcons fan. Is giving
This
the
is
ball
all
to Tyler
emotion.
Algier
All
a
emotion.
negative play?
Give the ball to Bijan.
Thank
Don't
you.
give it to
Okay,
Algier.
he didn't answer the question.
Yes.
All right, listen. First 30-point game ever. Shout out to Kyle, who his bold call of the week was that Bijan would have 30-plus DK points for the first time in his career, and he did.
Wow.
So, by the way, the whole crew with the props this week,
My goodness.
outrageous. I mean, that's not my world.
Look, we all did the best we could do. All of us, guys, right? Just
Yeah.
remember that.
Yep.
James Cook, catch your targets.
How many targets did he have?
3.
Oh, okay.
If he would have just caught them all, we would have been fine.
What? I got a crown on.
I got a
Yeah.
crown on.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm sick on Thursday.
Friday. Oh, no, Thursday.
Thursday.
You got it. James Conner, he's the RB7 on the season. He's been outrageously good. In this game, you saw a little bit more Trey Benson, but a ton of Conner in the passing game. They were also salting the game away. Benson's looked better, by the way.
Yes,
Yes,
he
he
has.
And I
Yes.
was like very vehement that he's the back to add to protect Conner, not DeMarcado. I'm even more vehement about that. Like Benson would be the grinder. He'd be the between the tackles. And Jason, you said it. DeMarcado would keep doing the same stuff he's doing.
What's crazy is the last 2 weeks, Benson would have been a startable asset. I mean, he's been an RB2 both weeks, so he's starting to get actually more involved where he's an insurance policy that could explode, but maybe a flex option.
Okay, yeah. Chase Brown, is he – this is a big question. Chase Brown for the Bengals. They added Khalil Herbert. They are working out Leonard Fournette, by the way.
Yeah, they are.
I
I think Chase Brown, I think his role's pretty secure.
I agree. Fournette is –
in the year 2024, if you're working out Leonard Fournette.
Well, I don't know if you guys caught it.
do you know how old Leonard Fournette is, Jason?
Oh, man.
I'll go
Because you're not
29.
29?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would probably guess 29. Feels like 38, probably younger.
Like,
No. How old is he?
29.
Oh, okay.
so Khalil Herbert, they did activate him. He actually was on the field. If you guys missed this.
I did not know.
Oh, yeah.
That's great.
Because they fumbled the exchange.
All right, I'm going to ask you a question.
All right.
Chase Brown, rest of season is the RB, and you said it at the same time.
Okay,
Okay,
hold
so
on. Let me get an actual number.
Figure it out in your head. Chase Brown, rest of the season is the RB.
Was
that was it.
Okay.
3,
that was
2,
it. All right.
1.
14.
Mike said 6.
Wow. I said 14, which I felt like is high in a lot of respect, like a high end RB2.
I would have answered probably RB 11.
Chase Brown is dominating.
Yeah, I mean, so far on the course of the season, he's the running back 14.
But it's like he didn't even start as the guy.
Yeah, and the Bengals offense looks on fire right now. Joe Burrow is playing as well as he ever has. So having the running back in that situation,
Yeah.
the targets are
I'm all
going
in.
his way as well. I mean, he had double-digit targets this last week. 2 weeks ago, 5. I'm moving up. I'm going to say running back 10.
You guys have me thinking about CeeDee Lamb a lot now. That's all I'm thinking
We're
of.
talking
the rest
about
of this.
Chase Brown.
I know. Because every name that you say now, every single
you
time,
tra-
it's
would
would
you
I
trade?
rather have them. Mixon was expectedly inefficient against the Detroit defensive front.
That's
Oh, I don't care at all about that.
I do.
I mean, every running back against Detroit does the same exact thing, but they still gave him it 25 times. He scored. He was 2 for 44 through the air.
Yeah, he was fine.
No, he was very good for fantasy football. It's just hilarious to see a guy carry the ball 25 times and get 46 yards.
It's the best testimony to his greatness you could ever have is that he has not had one game outside RB1 performance this year where he wasn't injured in it. He got knocked out of one game. Every other game he has finished not teetering on RB2.
He's
been an
dominating.
RB1.
Yes.
Who do you want rest of the season more than him?
There's probably 3 or 4 names. I mean, the questionable.
I don't want Bijan more than him. I might want Henry more than him.
I would want Henry more than him. I think I might want Kamara more than him.
I don't think I'd go there.
Christian McCaffrey,
Barkley.
No, I don't think so.
and maybe Kyron. But I mean,
Yeah,
Joe
no,
Mixon is
that's
in
the group.
the conversation with those guys.
He is silly.
So Dallas, Tennessee, Jacksonville, that's what's on deck here for the Texans. So
That sounds nice.
I don't think the matchups really matter that much for Mixon.
well, I'm talking about it. I think that they matter in terms of will he be a top 3 running back on the week?
Sure. Ceiling.
Um,
Tyrone Tracy looked great this week again. I mean, it was against Carolina, so a little bit predictable. He lost the
that Germany.
game. He lost the game for them. That game was awesome. The first half was
Awful.
The first half was awful.
It's awful.
The second half of that game was back and forth offense. It was a fun game. I feel so bad for Tyrone Tracy fumbling the game away at the end. I mean, literally, he was responsible for the loss single-handedly.
Yes.
But he was great. Had over 100 yards on the ground, had a touchdown, and then ruined the game.
He may have secured the #1 pick for the Giants, though.
Yes. Yeah, he's the hero that everyone didn't know they needed.
So you feel bad right now, but go a couple years down the road.
Jamar Chase was the best wide receiver by double the points of everybody else this week. MVS was the second highest scorer.
And if you're unaware, MVS plays for the Bills this year.
No, he doesn't.
No. Oh, what?
He plays
the
for
Saints?
the Saints.
The Saints. Thank you.
What
Yep,
was-
see?
Oh, I thought you were doing a bit.
No,
I did too.
No,
You're just being wrong.
I'm just literally reading the doc, and then it made my brain go jelly.
Wait, so you were reading?
I was Ron Burgundying.
You.
I don't know why.
Where did it say he played for the Bills?
He used to play for the Bills.
Oh, Brooks. Okay, Brooks did put it in there. All right.
Hey, guys. Calvin Ridley was the #3 wide receiver of the week.
Calvin Ridley's been good. I mean, he's really been fine since Hopkins has left. You have double-digit points last week, 23 points this week, 18 points the week before, and it's on the back of targets. I mean,
So you guys are obviously you'd rather have MVS than CeeDee Lamb, right? That's what you guys are. That's what you're saying?
No, but Calvin Ridley maybe. I'm just saying Calvin Ridley might outscore CeeDee Lamb rest of season from this point forward. Since Hopkins has left, and I know, look, Calvin Ridley's my guy for you. You believe in the talent.
Man.
Do you know the last 3 games his pace would be 1,700 yards, 113 receptions?
I'm so smart. What a great pick.
So you should go get him for CeeDee.
George Pickens, very good week. 5 for 91 and a
You know
touchdown.
right there.
I'm having a hard time.
George Pickens, 5 for 91, a super boss touchdown. Gets to play Baltimore next week.
Cortland Sutton, 9 targets, 6 for 70. Bo Nix looking hot.
Yeah, he is. I mean, Bo Nix has been outstanding.
What was the score of that
Sutton or Lamb?
That Broncos Chiefs game?
Oh yeah, Mike,
What happened
you're
there?
almost upset. They should. I mean, you can't
They
get
won the game.
You
Nope.
can't get a closer almost upset than that
No,
because
they didn't.
they went down to kick a chip shot field goal to win the game. It was one of those
When
things
that
where
kick was happening, I thought I literally had playing in the back of my head, if they block this or something or it misses, they can't keep getting away with this.
I know it's crazy.
It wasn't just that. There was all. Did you? I don't know if you had caught it, Andy, but there was it was like back-to-back sacks. It's 3rd and forever, and they sack him immediately. But they called an illegal contact. That was.
It was weird.
It was wild because of just how fast Mahomes was sacked, but they got the end, and then that turned into a score. So that was a lame game.
John
in terms of scoring.
Mechie, 5 for 74 and a touchdown. Probably just a blip on the radar with Nico coming back. Pearsall, 4 for 73 and a touchdown. It's going to be tough because Kittle, Debo, Jennings, Pearsall, McCaffrey. Like there's going to be an odd man out on a week-to-week basis,
I mean,
but he looked great.
I think everyone had a good game.
Yeah,
Like
Debo
George
did.
Kittle's
Kittle did.
Kittle's the tight end 5 currently.
McCaffrey didn't have a good game, did he?
McCaffrey did.
But
I mean, he was not
Oh, he was
great.
still fine, huh? 13 for 39 on the ground,
but caught a bunch of passes.
6 for 68 through the air.
And
That's-
Juwan Jennings was 7 for 93. Like everybody was okay. So if you get to play Tampa Bay, maybe they'll be okay every week.
Amon-Ra and Harrison, good games. Bye week for Marvin coming up. Nice to see him on the same page with Kyler. And by the way, to Papa Josh, he now leads all rookies in receiving touchdowns. Papa Josh been doing the neighbors I'm better than you dance
It's been
for
pretty
a while.
quiet for a month.
Yeah. It's like
What happened?
one of them's got Daniel Jones. The other one has Kyler.
Jeremy started making me feel bad about slandering Marvin all the time.
Yeah, well, that's fair.
You should. I don't.
But anyways, Marvin, nice to see it. Kelsey, Andrews, Laporta, Tanner Hudson, and George Kittle. So 4 out of 5 big names.
Tanner
That's nice.
Yeah, it's very nice for this year.
stole our Gesicki points.
Yeah, Gesicki was icky this
Yeah.
week. Let's talk about some duds.
Pooped in his big boy pants.
I don't want to linger too long on this fine holiday on this segment, but people were really bummed out with Jaden Daniels. Obviously, this was the first time that we got a game like this. He didn't throw a touchdown. He was connecting with McLaurin, but it just happened to be McNichols and 2 Ecklers.
Yeah, I was going to say this is not his fault at all. He played great, got him right down to the goal line, and 3 rushing touchdowns. That's going to happen sometimes.
And Baker, that
Yeah.
was
I guess what do you do
he
here?
finally did it. He finally couldn't get it done without his weapons.
Well, he's going into bye. I think coming out of the bye, you expect to have Mike Evans back. So I
Okay.
think Baker is fine going forward. His
It was
playoff
on the
schedule.
road. It was San Francisco. They were
Yeah.
coming off a bye.
Also, he was awesome. I mean, Baker.
Oh man, there was
for
some,
fantasy it
some
stunk.
man moments,
And it was, but there was one of the coolest plays I've ever seen in my life, where Bosa is in the middle of sacking him, and it's a 4th down. He's just holding his arm out,
full
and
stiff arm.
It's like, well, he's just in his grip, like pulling Bosa for 6 yards, about to get sacked for that long, and then completes the pass. It was great.
This is the second game in a row where I feel like a little bit of a lack of aggression from the coaching staff end of game might have cost them a win. CJ Stroud, he was all right in the first half. Disappeared in the second half. Jared Goff, 5 interceptions.
Winning quarterback Jared Goff.
Oh my goodness.
He was, I think he was leading. So here it is. Came into the game completing 75% of his passes, was number 1 all time. Completes 50% of his passes last night.
Yeah, only Anthony Richardson would be
Game
happy
winner
with that.
Jared Goff.
Kirk Cousins, no touchdowns.
He got Bijan. He threw for over 300 yards and didn't look bad, but the
He's
touchdowns.
the hardest quarterback to play for me in this entire season.
It's easy next week.
because it's Denver, so
Yeah,
you sit him.
don't do it.
I mean, 3 times he's had these explosive blow-up games, and the rest of them have been pretty meh. And yet we know he's playing good quarterback. It's just that it's just the way it goes. The touchdowns, you don't get it. Like, he's not going to perform without those touchdowns, obviously. Darnold was atrocious.
Yeah, it was. Darnold
3 picks, couldn't get the ball to Jefferson.
And now he's got a run of 2 tough matchups and 1 we have no idea. Tennessee is going to be very tough.
They're
on the road. They're a good defense. Chicago, on the road in Chicago, is a good defense, and then he plays against Arizona, which we have no idea.
Is it good if Caleb Williams was sacked 9 times?
No, that's actually really bad.
That's really good for the defense.
Yeah, New England Patriots defense helped Mike and I in DraftKings, that's for sure. But Caleb was atrocious again. That offense, Shane Waldron, not good. Not good at all.
They will not be there long.
Travis Etienne, 11 for 44, only 1 target, terrible game. The Etienne
And Tank left.
Yeah,
just for a minute. He did come back.
We know Minnesota is a great defense, but the Etienne people out there are on their last breath.
Yeah, and it's Detroit this next week and then a bye week. So, I mean, without
and
Trevor Lawrence for most of the season, I mean, Travis Etienne feels like someone you can't play.
Well, think about that while we take this break. We'll come back with some more running back duds. All right, well, Swift didn't get it done in a plus matchup. Dobbins didn't get it done. Rico Dowdle didn't get it done.
Rico was looking pretty good.
Yeah, not to his
And then
fault.
they got down to the goal line. Then they brought in Zeke. Mike's freaking out. Why are you bringing in Zeke? And then Zeke fumbles it into the end zone.
And some fumbles are like little subtle fumbles. Others are like egregious embarrassments.
Yeah.
And this ball just flew forward like a bomb. Look, Rico's not going to have success on this roster for the same reasons that Lamb might not have success. And Ferguson, if you're not near the red zone, you're going to have a lot of 12 for 53s from this offense.
My point on Rico was the guy was running really, really hot. And then you give Zeke the ball and you fumble into the end zone. And then they're like, well, we're kind of done running the ball now. It was, I don't know, it was a complete mismanagement of a roster.
Well, yeah, they're going to be that for a while. Houston,
They
Washington, the Jets coming up, or the Giants coming up. Saquon, it was a down game for Saquon. It happens. He had an early injury to his forearm, didn't miss much time. Jalen Hurts was running wild. Washington, Los Angeles, Baltimore coming up. Don't worry about him. CeeDee Lamb, 6 for 21.
This is wild. It's CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson, Devontae Adams, Garrett Wilson, Devonta Smith,
Brian Thomas Jr.
I mean,
Tank Dell.
Zay Flowers. It's like all
A lot of big names.
top-tier wide receivers.
What's crazy about the duds to me is not only are they top-tier wide receivers, but with the exception of like Devontae Smith, most of these guys, CeeDee Lamb had 10 targets. Justin Jefferson had 9 targets. Devontae Adams had 13 targets.
Tank Dell had 9 targets.
These guys were actually involved in the game and still pooped in their big boy pants.
Yeah, that's why I didn't find a lot of puns this week that were – yeah, I don't know what to say about Tank Dell at this point. I mean, I was looking up. His catch percentage is the exact same as it was last year, not scoring. They've missed some big plays, and something's just not clicking week to week every week. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's – I mean, same play caller, same quarterback, same opportunities.
I have to hold out hope that once Nico is back,
he should be
it
okay
improves.
with no digs. He should be okay, but if they don't throw the ball as much because they do have success on the ground, that's your variable. Is DJ Moore dead?
Yes.
How many games inside the top 30 this year?
Got to be one.
Uno.
Yeah, it's one.
Is he done?
I don't think. I mean, I don't think his career is done.
No,
by
for
any
this
means.
year. Is he done for this year? Like,
It's-
do you cut him?
Oh, my God.
I think
Is that a bomb you're drop? Is that like a landmine you're leaving
That
on the
would-
waiver wire?
That would be the shiniest landmine.
Yeah, you still have the. I mean, there's going to be a game rest of season where DJ Moore goes ham. 2 touchdowns, 150 yards. That will happen. So if I see him on waivers and I'm a needy team, I'd be happy to pick him up and throw him in my lineup as opposed to, a DeMarcus Robinson I'm trying to get. However, if you're starting him on a weekly basis, you're going to get dud after dud after dud because Caleb Williams and the Bears offense under Shane Waldron they're not good at all, and it's split. You have Keenan Allen involved in the target share. Sometimes he's going to Cole Kmet. You've got Odunze. There is certainly not enough to go around for. There's not enough to go around for 2 players in a game, let alone 4.
So we saw a special year from DJ Moore last year, but the rest of his career has been underwhelming in terms of consistency.
But not this bad.
Is it possible? Well, no, not quite, but he's wide receiver 32 on the year. Before last year's wide receiver 6, he was 22-19, 22-18. Is it possible that last year was the anomaly of the career of DJ Moore? We have, at this point, 7 seasons.
I think
and 1 season that delivered.
Last year was only the second time that DJ Moore has had a competent quarterback.
It's funny because
that's a competent. Like Justin Fields last year wasn't like an unbelievable passer. Fields had a competent year.
Yeah, it was okay. Obviously not competent enough to stay a starter in the NFL.
Right.
But you have always had DJ Moore compared to Terry McLaurin because they're really talented wide receivers without
very
good quarterback play. And then if they got good quarterback play, they'd be great. And then coming into this year, you thought DJ Moore got the great quarterback in the future, first ballot Hall of Famer in Caleb Williams. And Jaden Daniels was the rushing mobile quarterback that's good for fantasy but might not be able to sling it. And it turns out Terry McLaurin got the good quarterback, and it's been great.
And DJ Moore seems so frustrated. Would you rather have Moore on your roster or Jordan Addison on your roster, or both on waivers?
Oh, man.
Another down game for Addison.
Yeah, I would say neither.
I
especially with Hawkinson back, it'd be hard to trust Addison rest of season.
Cade, Otten, Dalton Kincaid, Evan Ingram, and Jake Ferguson disappointed this week.
Yeah.
Otten started hot in this game. I think he had 4 catches like right away, and then it was gone. San Francisco took him away, and then that was a good strategy because they didn't have anybody else to do much of anything outside of Rachaad White. Kincaid's season has basically been a wash. Now he's hurt. Got a bye week coming up after Kansas City. I mean, he's probably going to miss next week, then the bye. Then he has to play San Francisco. Dalton Kincaid shouldn't be part of your future championship plans.
Correct. No, he shouldn't.
And then Evan Ingram hasn't been able to get it done to the degree that we had hoped. And if Lawrence is out, that's a concern.
Yeah, I mean, I think what Evan Ingram did this last week is what you're going to have a lot more of. He had 8 targets, caught 6 of them. 6 of them for 40 yards. It's not a goose. A lot of tight ends are going to go out there and goose you, but that's not what you're hoping for in Evan Ingram. Certainly with the injuries at the wide receiver, you thought he might do one of those Njoku type of runs that you saw at the end of last year. He's not going to do that this year with Mac Jones.
Okay. And Jake Ferguson's season could be kind of toast too.
It could be.
So there are other
I
tight
would say
ends.
it is.
Well, there are other tight ends we'll talk about tomorrow that you can look to. I mean, all of a sudden, Jonnu Smith's starting to become, if he does something tonight,
It's looking pretty
he's
good.
going to be one of the top names to make sure you pick up and replace some of these guys that you thought you had. So we'll talk about it. I think that'll do it. We got waivers tomorrow, so we'll talk about it then. And, again, thank you to the veterans out there for your sacrifice, for keeping us safe, defending our rights, and we'll catch you tomorrow. That is it. We did it. We worked on a holiday, boys.
Let's not do it
Just
again.
like the men and women in Georgia.
Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. Join our fantasy football community on jointhefoot.com and follow us on Twitter @TheFFBallers.